Hello and welcome to another Star Citizen podcasty hot takes, whatever these are. It's the end of November at time of recording and probably at time of releasing this video. And I'm with Zin. Say hello, Zin.
Hello, Zin.
We're going to be talking about a couple of things today. The Odyssey. We'll also be talking very, very briefly about the IAE because we've already talked about that earlier. But Star Citizen funding, because it's gone ridiculous. I'm interested to know what Zin thinks about that. We've got Alpha 3.16 on the horizon, probably on the horizon. It's hard to tell. And then we'll talk a bit about Christmas content and what's going on. So let's start with the Odyssey. Odyssey, the latest concept ship that's come out for Star Citizen. I say come out. It's preparing to come out. It's in development. It's pre-development. It's
How close do you think it is?
Well, that is a really good question. So, typically, these ships that are concepted now, or are being concepted within the last, 18 months or so, they should have a shorter cycle overall than all the previous older ships, because they've got the pipeline really refined for building ships. They block out the interior first now. They know about the size of the ship. They know what they want it to do. And bam, they can get it in-game a lot quicker. And the Odyssey does not have any super complex new sort of mechanics or things that they need to build for it. Really, it's not like a science ship where they've got to go, we've got to make 12 different gameplay mechanics that actually get the ship in game and have it have tangible gameplay. They need to, it's got mining, it's got refining. We sort of have refining in game already, but this would need to be ship-based refining, which they'll need to build for the mining process anyway. And they are already, I believe. But other than that, it's just a big ship, and I suppose we're waiting for the exploration mechanics overall, which are sort of slowly becoming more and more clear. But do you notice that I didn't answer your question at all?
Yeah, well, I was going to say half a year.
You think
to a year.
Okay, so I think the earliest we'd see it is the end of next year. But that's also the earliest I think we'd see the Banner Merchantman. And that's where I also put anything that I don't really know when it's going to turn up. I go, it'll be at the end of the next year. Yeah, so you actually think it could be pretty close?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking that things like ships like this, the Banner Merchantman, those sorts of big ships that are more than just I'm a fly somewhere sort of ships. I think we are going to need them when they release Pyro. And Pyro is becoming more and more of a possibility, soon, TM.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and one of the things we'll talk about in a second as well, for Alpha 3.16, they have got ship-to-ship refueling sort of planned for that, which is another thing that's needed for Pyro, really, because Pyro is much bigger than the Stanton system. But
there's less in it, technically.
Yeah, there's effectively less in it, at least less in the way of places where you'll be able to rearm, repair, and refuel easily. Especially if you're lawful. It's going to be a lot more dangerous. So, some of these things are needed, and a ship that is a lot longer range, and these larger ships which allow for longer range, as you said, they're going to probably be pretty important. The thing is, though, with the Odyssey, is a lot of people are worried about it being power creep. And what I mean by that is that they expected, as did I, that the Carrack was going to be the top tier explorer. You go, bam, you get a Carrack, that's your top tier exploration. Yeah? Now, the Odyssey has smashed that. Either the Odyssey is better than the Carrack, because it's bigger and it's got more features and more interesting things, or it's a competitor to the Carrack directly. I mean, obviously there is another option, it's worse than the Carrack, but I'm ignoring that option because it's bigger and more expensive. What do you think about that? Do you think it is power creep and Cloud Imperium are going to be building ships that are, better than the old ones or bigger and go, you know what, we've got a capital version of this ship. You didn't think there was going to be one, but now there is.
I think, I don't see a problem with that, personally.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to assume that this ship is more expensive than the Carrack.
It is in monetary money value currently.
Yeah.
Available from 625. Now, that's Warbond, obviously, and I think the ship's 700 if you buy with store credit. The Carrack is around $600 at the moment.
It's price bands, isn't it, really? But also, people can, if you buy with real money, you can trade it anyway. You said yourself you've upgraded your character temporarily. You haven't actually applied it yet.
Yeah, I think there was some sort of sovereignty though that we, or at least I, was expecting the character to be top to expiration, and now it's got like a competitor, and I feel uncomfortable about that somehow. I don't know why. I think actually one of the things is that I do think the character's going to be different from the Odyssey. I do think they're going to be competing in different ways. Like the character has sort of exploration drones and has the ability to triangulate things, whereas the Odyssey I don't believe does. It's different in the way that they explore and their sort of way that they explore. And I think what it was is that because the Odyssey's got the ability to mine and refine, it makes me feel that maybe the character isn't going to be as long range as the Odyssey.
Yeah.
And that's a worry to me because they're both effectively expedition ships, which I would class as extreme long range and self-sufficient. Now, it's possible that the character is self-sufficient and has, maybe it's drones do mining. Maybe it is able to get enough sort of fuel to be able to keep on going, or mine a bit. Or maybe it will have modularity. They did talk briefly about the sort of cargo in the character. That's 3 cargo pods actually being modular in some way, so you might be able to switch it out for different things. Or it might be that the character's got a huge amount, just more fuel tank, and it can just go, well, it's got 3 weeks worth of fuel. You're going to be fine. Just go back every so often. And I think we need the Q&A for the Odyssey before we sort of like get pitchforks out and poke people. But I like the fact that you are sort of like much more in the thing of, well, it's just, it's fine. It's a bigger ship. It's different.
Yeah. I mean, you can't, because they're like, you've got to have the same sort of concept, same sort of like thinking about cars as well. That there are better cars out there and you could spend the money to get the better car, but you might not have the more money, or you might not want to spend that much money on a car.
I think what it is I don't want ships to just be better, but then I am arguing from the point of view that I don't want a ship to be better than the Carrack, which is a bit of an odd position to come from.
No, don't upset my beautiful Carrack.
I love the Carrack so much. It is my second favourite ship in the game, and now on paper something beats it in my head. It was very popular though, the Odyssey. Actually, I'm going to jump a bit in our little script. So at the moment, we're looking on the funding tracker. It's $415 million that Star Citizen's made on that funding tracker, and it made like 20 million of that almost during the IAE so far, and actually it's not over at time of recording either. So my estimates though are that Star Citizen is much closer to 540 million that it's generated in money, including funding, private investment, subscriber income, and other income. So do you think that's a ridiculous amount of money, or do you think actually because of the scope and the player base for Star Citizen, that's sort of fine? And do you think we're going to see $1 billion game development before the game's released?
I think that is a ridiculous sum of money, but that's over many, many years. Like, it's not like that's how much they accrue each year, is it?
So do you think it's okay for them to spend more money if they delay the game longer?
Is it delaying? Are they delaying a game if it hasn't got a release date?
No. You're right with that. That was me being a bit silly. But what I would say is that I wouldn't conflate the fact it's taking a long time to it also being it's okay to spend a lot of money.
So I'm not saying it's taken a long time and therefore it's okay to spend a lot of money. I'm saying that it takes a long time, therefore it will spend a lot of money. Because they are having to pay for wherever their offices are. They're having to pay for the people they hire. And they're looking at expanding as well.
They are looking at expanding. They've signed a 10-year lease in their new office in Manchester. They've got 1,000 dev/employee area in this new building, which is a lot of people. At the moment, it's 720 to 750 employees they've got. And they're now expanding out their, I think it's 400-person studio by effectively 600 additional people. And they've got a new studio in Frankfurt. And they're building up their studio in Montreal. So, I mean, the expansion of Star Citizen is ridiculous. Like, they are... You think about it, like, I was expecting them to potentially have Squadron 42 out by the end of next year. I mean, I've expected that for the last 3 years. But then I would expect them to scale back after they'd finished the core of their game But that's not what they're doing. They're expanding more. They're doing more. Is this an indication that the game's going to take longer to release because they're spending a lot more time on it? Or is it that they're going to be developing the game well beyond that? Or is there something else going on?
Who knows?
Well, exactly. Well, we're here to ponder.
I mean, if anything, the fact that they've done all this stuff and they're expanding as they are means that they're in this for the long haul, you know?
Good. If in any way Star Citizen could potentially be seen as a scam, it is the worst scam known to man. It is literally built. It is literally going, oh, should we say we've gone to the moon? How are we going to do that? Let's build a rocket that could actually go to the moon. And actually, let's build a new moon. It's that style of, look, they're spending the money on development. You may disagree with how they're spending the money and of their development process, and I think that's fair, and you're allowed to criticise them on that, but I wouldn't say the game is a scam in any way, shape or form. So, yeah, was there anything that you wanted to get from the IAE, or anything that you were like, oh, this is really, really cool, other than your...
Inferno?
You want your Inferno. I was going to say Ion, but that's the one I've got.
Yeah, you said you bought me an Inferno, or you were going to buy me an Inferno.
I'll make sure
I don't have an Inferno currently.
I'll make sure you have...
I'm very angry about it.
I'll make sure you have an Inferno for Christmas, no worries. Hopefully we'll get some things to use it in, like new Xenothreat type missions. That would be good.
Yeah.
Because big ships do bad against them.
We could just go and try and do some missions in them and see what's capable and what's not.
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to do much in the way of cargo running with them, but we can give it a go. Maybe if we sort of sandwich a box between our two ships, sort of gently fly it out. Okay, yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that. So, actually, that's a good question. Just a random off-the-cuff question that is actually in my script, so not that off-the-cuff. What do you prefer, Fleet Week, CitizenCon, or the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo?
I think, I know this is a bit weird, because I know you were complaining about it, but I think CitizenCon, because you get more information about the game.
Why was I complaining about CitizenCon? I mean, I complain about everything.
But the last time we were talking about it, you were saying, like, you don't want that to be the thing that people look forward to.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, yeah, so CitizenCon is probably the most exciting time for me. There's a huge amount of information. I love the physical events when they actually have them. I do want people to be excited about playing the game. I do think that's important. And as the game gets more developed, it will be more like that. Okay, no, I think that's fine.
I like CitizenCon because of the information that is given, even if they do starve us for it for like a month or two beforehand.
See, oddly, I find the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo is the busiest time on the channel by far.
Well, that's because there's, at least recently, there's been a lot of ships being released around there as well.
That is true. So, especially this year, we had so many ships released. So we had the Redeemer, the Inferno, the Ion, obviously the Ares Starfighters there. We also had the Spartan and the Argo Raft.
And now the Odyssey.
And the Odyssey on concept. So we had so many straight-to-flyable ships, or made-flyable ships, I should say, because it's a mixture of the two, and vehicles, and that Odyssey. And I suppose people love the being able to rent, and it's a free fly. But actually, for me, the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, besides the new ships, they sort of like go, woo, new stuff, is the least favourite of those three for me. Like, I mean, I love it still, don't get me wrong. But Fleet Week I find really interesting because they do interesting things during Fleet Week. So they have, like, the last year, the Javelin Tour. And some cool stuff like that. And you get to see the fleet moving around. And we got to see a Bengal. Like,
yeah, that was nice.
It was, wasn't it? It was cool. It doesn't matter that it's not ready. It just goes, it looks cool.
Yeah, to be fair, I think they're all great in their own ways. Mm-hmm. It's nice that it's not just we'll just have this sort of thing 3 times a year. They're all quite individual. But
I think that's what actually makes the IAE less exciting for me, because it's the most sort of general neutral one. There's not as much going on with that.
Yeah, it's just about ships.
It's just about ships, and I love ships. Don't get me wrong, but I do. Yeah, the Fleet Week's just got a bit of spice to it. Ooh, actually, no, I do like the little additions every year. I mean, they make the IAE better and better each year, and they sort of to improve it. And there's like the voice panel-y boys now that you can press the buttons on, and
such innovation.
well, I mean, it's little improvements, and they all add up eventually. I mean, so it's impressive that Star Citizen can have these yearly events, which people look forward to now, with actually quite a big player base, and have a fan fest every year that is when the game's just in alpha. I mean, it's Star Citizen's very good at marketing, and we saw that with the Jax McCleary videos. They can make genuinely great shorts and stories. The same with the Mercury Star Runner
one.
Yeah. I mean, they are
The
fantastic. Reunion, yeah. I mean, absolutely fantastic sort of shorts, videos, movies, whatever. And hopefully that's an indication that Squadron 42 is going to be fantastic. But we'll have to wait and see, I suppose. Let's move on to Alpha 3.16, because that's the next major patch. And do you think they're going to be releasing 3.16 by the end of the year, Zin?
Yes.
You actually do? You think, what, a live build?
No, maybe not live. Definitely test.
Open PTU?
Open PTU, yeah, I think.
So I'm thinking open PTU, but I don't think... They can't get a live build, surely.
No. Well, maybe. I don't know. Depends how well they've trimmed back the mess. Because obviously it's just because they've removed so much stuff from 3.16.
Okay, so I still think, yes, they have. I still think there's actually a reasonable amount in there, but there's more on there than the roadmap is showing. Because we do know there's a lot of other little bits of content that they've been talking about, which I'm hoping still in there. So like the quantum updates. So because they're supposed to have fuel and repair prices done by the dynamic universe simulation, along with encounters and beacons, distress beacons. And things like that. There's lots and lots of stuff like that. There's some Vulcan, some Gen 12 upgrades and integration stuff going on. There's potentially going to be Jumptown version 2 and loads of other missions. And none of that is on the roadmap, but was talked about at CitizenCon, and they said they were planning for it. I mean, we know that there is going to be new missions and new points of interest for 3.16, because they've got like new derelict ships on the ground, and I think in space as well, but they talked more about the ground and like laser trip mines being there and things like that. And I think it's the two sort of more gameplay loop additions there are sort of mining gadgets and ship-to-ship refueling. Other than that, there's very little. I think they might be updating NPCs with the new DNA system. I think maybe player faces as well with the DNA system. But the 3.16 patch is pretty slim. And that's fine as long as they have it in a playable state. Because if they release a live build at the end of the year, they pushed out a live build, and it is broken, like prohibitive to play. No one can log in. You're just constantly crashing. There is accessibility problems for 2 weeks. That's just going to be bad. And they've done that once before. There's been an end of year sort of problem. But I think a couple of years ago with Xenothreat, basically.
You mean last year with Xenothreat?
Is it last year? Or was it 20?
It was literally last year.
Was it last year? Oh, I'm so confused because of pandemics and things.
I mean, it was only about I think October, November last year that they removed armistice zones around space stations.
Oh my!
And then that's when they started with the.
Last year was the longest years in.
I know, but that's when they started with the Idris fight. Is it the Idris? If I got that right.
So the Idris fight.
No, it's not the Idris. What's the smaller one? No, it's the Idris. So Javelin's the big one.
Yeah. So the Idris was first in the Mars Eckhart set of missions against the Arlington gang.
But then they did it so that because they removed the armistice zone around stations, and they made it so that the more you fought around stations and accrued the bad points,
the more security turned up, including
and we had
ships.
that little mission with the synchronizers.
We did jump on board with the synchronizers again and do some stuff. I think.
But they did that last year, and that was just before they did Xenothreat.
Hopefully, we'll have Jumptown version 2, and we can jump in with some orgs and do that as a group. So Jumptown version 2, for people that don't know, was basically the server will announce that a particular outpost is generating free, very valuable, potentially illegal goods that you can just go and pick up. So people will want to go to that area and lock that area down and get all the free goods. Are you looking forward to anything in 3.16, or just generally it being a new patch?
New patch, more so. Like I said, there's not a lot in there.
Do you think that we could get the refinery ship they've talked about in 3.16 straight to flyable, or do you think the Odyssey is somehow the refinery ship because it does have a refinery on it?
I don't think it'll be the Odyssey.
So hopefully we're going to get a small mobile refinery then.
I think for them to implement ship-to-ship refuel... Well, we've got one ship, haven't we, that's refuel...
The Starfarer?
Yeah.
So it's possible that they will just make the Starfarer the mobile refinery ship as one of its modularity sort of choices. Because that's one of the things it's supposed to be able to do.
Well, they're not... The thing is, they're not talking about ship refineries, are they? They're talking about ship-to-ship refueling.
Yes, that's true.
And how I would see it currently, because the Starfarers, you're meant to be able to basically collect fuel, aren't you? From like...
Well... We're left in a bit of
fuel.
We're left in a bit of limbo with the Starfarer because we don't really know what it's supposed to do anymore. Is it a gas collector? Is it a refinery? Well, how do you get quantum fuel with it? Well, you're supposed to mine quantum fuel, quantanium. Well, you need a mining rig.
I would have thought that as a stopgap interim, you'd be able to basically land that ship or dock that ship, however big it is, at a station and buy the fuel.
Yes, so that's one of the things that it should be able to do, at least, is be able to store quantum fuel, vast quantities of it.
Yeah, and then you can have that in your fleet, and then when people need to refuel, they can just dock, because we've seen the animations of them doing the refueling docking stuff, so...
I think it's very possible that the mobile refinery ship is just the modularity for the Starfarer, and I've only just thought of that. So that's my wild hot take for today. But yeah, so 3.16, we're expecting it to go to testing within the next couple of weeks, and typically CIG stop a few days before Christmas, and then that's them done until New Year. There will be a skeleton crew working, so if something happens or whatever, the servers will still be maintained and all that sort of jazz, so don't worry too much about that. But I'm interested to know what you think. Do you think that 3.16 is going to be live by the end of December, or do you think it will be a open PTU like I think me and Sin do? I hope I've not swayed you too much with my opinion on thinking it's an open PTU. But I think that's the only viable option, really.
Obviously, working patches is different to the tech that they've actually managed to create. But they've only got 4 things that are tentative right now on the roadmap out of the whole of 3.16.
That's true. We should get some more information on that Wednesday evening.
Yeah. But obviously, just because they've sort of got it complete doesn't mean it's working in game. They're 2 different things.
That is very, very true. So, Christmas. Christmas is coming.
Yay!
Zinni's going to have some days off.
Yay!
I'm probably going to have some days off. Yay? So you didn't yay that. Thanks, Sin.
Yay!
Yeah, perfect. Also, we'll save that as a little soundbite, that yay, for sure. So probably what I'll do on the days that we'll have off, because I work 6 to 7 days a week, but we'll get some we'll do like a gameplay series. We'll go. We've got some goals. We're going to do this gameplay, and then we'll film us doing that gameplay while chatting, sort of thing, and we have that played over Christmas and New Year. Some stuff like that.
It's like James Bond reruns at Christmas.
Sorry, how is this like James Bond rerun? What?
Well, you know, at Christmas they always just play James Bond.
No, I didn't actually know that. I'm too busy watching Die Hard and other Christmas films.
Yeah, but during the day they can't put Die Hard on during the day.
Gremlins. What are other Christmas films in?
Batman Returns.
Batman Returns, yeah, but that's literally a Christmas film because it's set at Christmas.
Yes.
Nightmare
just
Before
like Die
Christmas.
Hard.
That's just like Die Hard. Yeah, okay. So, is it? I think is it Mouse Hunt?
I have no idea.
Mouse Hunt and the Witches. It's got Lee Evans in it. Mouse Hunt.
Why the Witches?
That's always at Christmas. I think so. I think of Christmas and I think of that film. We've gone off on such a tangent now.
Yeah.
But it's Christmas. That's what you're supposed to do. I'm going to buy you a tangent for Christmas, then.
Thanks.
Tangent Reen. I hate myself. But yeah, so I don't think there's going to be much disruption on the channel over Christmas. We'll have some sort of pre-done videos. We won't be reacting to the news so much because Cloud Imperium will be away, but we will check out all of the new gameplay with 3.16 and anything else that turns up. Lots of lore. We will be changing the outro out tomorrow, so look forward to some classic and new, awesome, classic and new. Huh.
Well, it's classic because it's expected.
Okay, yeah.
But it's new. I mean, it could be classic and we'll just reuse last year's one, yeah?
What, the NordVPN ad? Last year's NordVPN ad, yeah?
The outro, it was... I can't remember what last year's NordVPN was, but last year I animated a Mercury Star Runner on your hand.
Oh, you did?
Don't make me do that again.
Oh, no, it's okay. I've got a whole Christmas story sorted for this one.
Awesome.
Ho, ho, ho. I'm a fat old bald man with a beard. Yes, I'm BoredGamer. And that's how it's going to start. It's going to be perfect, Sin. Don't you worry. I've got you. You're going to be animating all day today and tomorrow.
Thanks.
Right. Anything else we want to talk about before we go? We've gone off on one.
No, I don't think we went off on one. That's quality content right there. That
is quality content. I hope all you guys are doing well. I hope you have a great Christmas or whatever you celebrate at this time of the year, or a great, I don't know, Winterval. Let's call it that. A Nordmas.
Merry Nordmas.
Merry Nordmas. Use links nordvpn.com/boredgamer to have the best time of the year. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Love you loads. Say goodbye, Zin.
Goodbye, Zin.
Bye. Ho, ho, ho. It's November, and that means, yes, you're right, it's NordVPN season. All those delicious Nords are collected together to make the finest VPN that I shill for on my channel. Not only is NordVPN delicious, but it also protects. Check out the links below to get fantastic discounts, or go to nordvpn.com/boredgamer. Do you dream of being at the controls of your spaceship in real life? Well, now you sort of can with Game Glass. It turns touchscreen devices into diegetic controllers for Star Citizen, and you can get the basic software free. Check it out in the links below. Every month we have a ship giveaway as well. This time it's for a Mercury Star Runner, a multi-crew ship that will let you do a bit of everything in-game now. Or at least most things. Lots of things in-game now. In the future it might allow you to do smuggling and data running too. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that is comment on any of my videos during November. More details down below. If you'd like to further support the channel, please consider clicking the join or thanks button under my videos, or even becoming a Patreon. You get some cool stuff to show that you're a true supporter of mine and Zin's art, some exclusive polls, ways of shaping the channel, some exclusive videos, all that sort of jazz too. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the verse.